Number 1. Sailendra Nath Roy. He believed his hair was stronger than steel. He stepped onto a wire over a roaring river seeking applause, unaware he was stepping directly into his own grave. He made it halfway, but then a cruel twist of mechanics, the rusted pulley wheel jammed tight. He was instantly trapped, dangling helplessly by nothing but his scalp in the high winds. Desperate, he screamed for his life. But the tragedy was down below. The crowd thought his struggle was part of the show. They cheered while a man slowly died right above their heads. For 45 agonizing minutes, he fought. But the stress was too much. His heart, overwhelmed by terror, simply gave up. He suffered a massive heart attack alone in the sky. Suddenly, his body went limp. The cheering slowly died down as the crowd realized the horrific truth. He wasn't performing anymore. He was gone. By the time the rescue team cut him down, the applause had turned into a horrified silence. He had traded his beating heart for a piece of paper that now lay trampled in the mud. He spent decades training his hair to be as strong as iron, but he forgot that the human heart is fragile. In the end, his superpower didn't save him. It literally tied him to the spot of his execution. Vanity is a cruel trap. He thought he was defying physics, but physics was just waiting for a rusty wheel to jam. He died not as a hero, but as a victim suspended by his own ego. Never entrust your precious life to a single mechanism. When the wire snaps, gravity collects its debt instantly. Walk on the ground. It's the only stage that truly supports you. Number 2. Haris Suleiman. Only 17. A child with a pilot's license and a heart full of dreams. He wanted to fly around the world to build schools. He took his father along for the adventure. But the ocean is a dark, lonely place. On the final leg, leaving American Samoa, they flew into the pitch-black night. Exhaustion and darkness became a deadly cocktail. Something went wrong. The plane plunged from the sky. In those final terrifying seconds, I hope he reached for his father's hand. They crashed into the unforgiving Pacific. Rescue crews found Haris, but the ocean kept his father forever. They started this journey to make history, but they ended it as a tragedy washed up on the waves. Is being the youngest worth never growing up to be the oldest? The obsession with youth records puts children in cockpits where they do not belong. The schools he wanted to build will never know his name. His noble mission ended not with a ribbon cutting, but with a search party scanning the dark waves. The dream died when the engine stopped. We look at the birds and wish to join them, forgetting that we are made of heavy bone and blood. The sky is a beautiful place to visit, but it is a terrifying place to be lost in the dark. The only mercy is that Haris was not alone. He held his father's hand as the water rushed in. They started as a team and left as a team, inseparable even in death. Don't rush to put your name in a history book. The pages are cold. Go home, hug your family, and let the history books write themselves. Number 3, Janaka Bosnayake. He climbed into a wooden trench 10 feet underground, waving to his family like he was just going for a nap. He wanted to prove he was special. As they shoveled dirt onto his box, the air supply was cut off. He lay there for 7 hours. He thought he was meditating, but he was slowly suffocating on his own carbon dioxide. When time was up, the crowd cheered, expecting a hero. They opened the lid, but Janaka didn't move. The silence in that hole was deafening. They dragged his limp body to the hospital, but he was gone. He had buried himself alive, surrounded by friends who unknowingly helped him commit suicide, and for what Guinness refused to recognize the attempt. He gave his one precious life for a record that doesn't exist. He stands in the spirit world gasping for the air he voluntarily gave up. It is the ultimate irony his family dug him up to celebrate, only to find themselves digging a grave for his funeral. The earth is patient. It waits for all of us. There is no need to tease it by climbing into a coffin before your time. He treated the soil like a playground, and it treated him like a corpse. There is absolutely no bravery in a wooden box. There is only cramped darkness and the slow, silent thief called carbon dioxide. Never let your ego bury you. Stay above ground where the sun shines. The view from inside a coffin is always the same darkness. Number 4. Guy Garman. He called himself Doc Deep. He was arrogant. He wanted to dive 200 feet. Experts begged him to stop, saying he wasn't ready. He ignored them all. He jumped into the black water. But at extreme depths, nitrogen acts like a narcotic. He got drunk on gas, confused, and lost in the crushing darkness. On the surface, his team watched the clock. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The schedule passed. The ocean remained silent. Horror crept over everyone. When they finally pulled up the guide rope, it was empty. Doc Deep was gone. His body was recovered days later, a victim of his own massive ego. The ocean does not care about your nickname or your ambition. It only respects physics. If you disrespect the deep, it keeps you. As he drifted into the eternal black, a fish swam past him. He realized too late that he was an intruder here. Doc Deep was just a nickname. Down here, he was just fragile meat in a crushing vice. Depth is not a measure of a man's worth. Survival is. He ignored every expert, every warning. He thought he knew better than the ocean, and the ocean corrected him permanently. There are mysteries in the dark that we are not meant to see. When you stare into the abyss for too long, sometimes the abyss grabs you and pulls you in. Respect the water. It gives us life, but it has no hesitation in taking it back. Stay where the light can still reach you. Number 5. Diana Paris. She was living her dream part of a 222-person world record skydive. She was surrounded by friends in the sky, but when they broke apart, the nightmare started. Her main chute malfunctioned, tangling into a useless ball. She was falling at 120 miles per hour. She fought for her life and pulled the reserve. But due to a rigging error, it deployed too low. It didn't slow her down. She impacted the desert floor instantly. Her husband landed safely nearby. He scanned the sky for his wife only to realize she wasn't coming down. His world ended right there on the landing strip. The group technically broke the record. But looking at that certificate, nobody smiled. All they saw was the empty space where Diana should have stood. If she had just checked her reserve chute one more time, she would be alive tonight. In extreme sports, a tiny rigging error isn't a mistake. It is a death sentence signed in advance. We forget that gravity is a law, not a suggestion. It cannot be bribed. When the fabric failed, Diana didn't float. She fell like a stone and the ground showed her no mercy. The most tragic image is her husband waiting for a parachute that never opened. Hug your loved ones tight. You never know when "see you on the ground" will be the last goodbye. The sky is unforgiving. Sometimes the bravest choice you can make is to keep your feet planted on solid ground. Number 6. Nicholas Mavoli, a rising star in freediving. He wanted to touch the ocean floor on a single breath. He was talented but impatient. He pushed his body too far. After 3 minutes, he surfaced. He flashed the OK sign. He tried to speak, but the lights were on and nobody was home. His brain had shut down. Suddenly, blood poured from his mouth. His lungs had been squeezed so hard by the pressure that they imploded. He collapsed back into the water. For 90 minutes, they tried to save him, but the damage was catastrophic. He died on the platform, surrounded by cameras documenting his failure. He ignored the warning signs. He traded his future for 1 extra meter of depth. A terrible exchange rate. He breathed safely in a bathtub, realizing the absurdity. He had a full life ahead of him, but he traded it all for a number on a depth gauge. He pushed past the danger zone and found no return ticket. We look at dolphins and envy their freedom, forgetting we are born of the air. Our lungs are balloons and the ocean is a needle. Trying to change your biology is biological suicide. Take a deep breath right now. Feel your chest expand. That simple, miraculous sensation is worth more than any record, any trophy, or any fame. Don't throw it away. Don't hold your breath for glory. Just breathe for life. The ocean is deep, but life is tragically short. Number 7. Juan Francisco Guillermo. Imagine cycling for 5 years, surviving deserts and snow. He was a hero on 2 wheels nearing the end of an epic global saga. He was on the final leg in Thailand. He could taste the finish line. His wife and child were right behind him. It was supposed to be a victory lap, but the world is chaotic. A truck driver lost focus for 1 split second. That carelessness ended 5 years of struggle. The truck hit Juan. He was killed instantly. His family watched their hero die on the hot asphalt. The journey ended in blood, not glory. It is a terrifying lesson. You can control your bike, but you cannot control the world. You are always vulnerable. He rides safely indoors. It is a harsh truth. The open road is romantic in books, but in reality it is a meat grinder. Cars are 2-ton bullets and cyclists are just soft flesh and bone. Never trust the traffic. Never assume a driver sees you. Juan survived deserts and blizzards only to be killed by a moment of distraction. Physics always favors the heavy metal. The destination doesn't matter if you don't arrive alive. His wife and child didn't need a record holder. They needed a husband and a father. Now they only have a ghost bike on a Thai highway. Ride safe, my friends, because the asphalt has no memory of who you are. It only remembers the stain you leave behind. Number 8. Javad Palizbanian, the Iranian daredevil. He wanted to jump 22 buses, a distance that looked impossible. Bravery without calculation is suicide. He hit the ramp at 100 mph, but the moment he left the ground, you could see it. The math was wrong. The arc was too flat. He wasn't flying, he was falling. He smashed directly into the 13th bus, a violent, catastrophic collision. The cheering crowd went instantly silent as his body broke. He died for a TV stunt. He paid the ultimate price for a 10-second spectacle. If you disrespect physics, gravity punishes you without mercy. Before you leap, you must measure. Blind faith in your engine is not enough. You cannot cheat math. He jumps a toy bike safely. It looks so simple. But Javad forgot that real life doesn't have a respawn button. If you fail a small jump, you get a bruise. If you fail a big jump, you get a closed casket funeral. We don't have wings. Motorcycles don't have wings. We are bound to the earth by gravity. Javad tried to cheat that law with horsepower, but the math didn't add up and the pavement collected the debt. Fame is temporary. It fades before the applause stops. But death is permanent. Choose wisely before you twist that throttle. No amount of cheering is worth never standing up again. The best stunt in the world is not the one that breaks a record. It is the one where you survive to ride home for dinner. Number 9. Jessica Dubroff. This is heartbreaking. She was 7, a child. But the adults wanted a headline. They put the weight of a world record on her tiny shoulders. A storm was raging. Any sane pilot would have grounded the plane, but the pressure was toxic. Go, they said. Make history, they said. They took off into the rain. The overloaded plane, piloted by a child, stalled in the wind. It fell like a stone crashing into a residential street. Jessica, her father and instructor, died instantly. A little girl was sacrificed for fame. It wasn't an accident. It was negligence. Murder by ambition. Her death forced laws to ban these records, but laws cannot bring back a lost childhood. She died for nothing. Let children be children. Let them play with paper planes, not multi-engine aircraft in a storm. Jessica had a lifetime ahead to reach the sky, but her parents stole it for a moment of media attention. A world record is just a piece of paper. A child is an entire universe of potential. We sacrificed a universe for a headline that nobody remembers today. It is the ultimate failure of guardianship. Parents, your job is to protect your kids, not to market them. Sometimes loving your child means saying no to the camera and yes to safety. Don't let your ambition become their tombstone. Rest in peace, little pilot. You deserved a longer flight, a happier childhood, and adults who loved you enough to keep you on the ground. Number 10, Bill Warner, a legend of speed. He already held the record at 311 mph, but fast wasn't fast enough. He wanted to push the envelope one last time. He roared down the runway at 285 miles per hour. You aren't driving, you are riding a missile. The world blurs into a tunnel of light, but physics is brutal. A tiny wobble from the wind. At 200 even near, that's all it takes. The bike lost control. The crash was violent, instant, and catastrophic. He died doing what he loved, they say. But he left behind a family, all for a split second of adrenaline. He pushed the machine past the limit and it broke him. The record book lists his speed, but the gravestone lists his end date. There is a limit to how fast flesh and bone can travel. We build machines faster than our human reflexes can handle. It is a race we cannot win. Bill Warner proved the bike could go fast, but he also proved that the human body breaks instantly at 285 mph. Slow down. The finish line of life is death. There is no need to sprint towards it. Look around, enjoy the scenery, because the race ends much sooner than you think. Speed is a rush, I get it. But living to tell the story to your grandkids, That is the real victory. Don't trade a lifetime of memories for one split second of adrenaline on a runway. Drive safe. Your life is infinitely more precious than any number on a speedometer. Arrive late but arrive alive. Honor their memories by staying safe. Smash the like button if you value your life more than a record book. Don't let your friends be reckless. Share this video to remind them that they are loved and needed right here. I tell these tragic stories so you can learn without the pain. Subscribe now for more life lessons.